Welcome back to Houzz TV Live. I'm Rick Spence, and with me today is Trevor Fulmer with Trevor Fulmer Design out of beautiful Boston, doing beautiful, amazing designs. Trevor, you've got a fun one for us this time. It was essentially a blank slate, just like white rooms. Give me an overview of what you did for this couple.
This project was really, really fun. The clients originally were living directly in the city and decided to move north into a small suburb called Revere. It really allowed us to do absolutely anything, which was really, really cool. Before my clients actually involved me, they had made a few decisions with the kitchen finishes. They had already selected cabinets, determined the color, the white, the gray color on the island, selected the marble, the hardware, some of the light fixtures in that space as well. When I came in, I said, you know what, this is still a beautiful kitchen and we can work with this. Since the downstairs of the home is so open, it was really important to take into consideration the colors, the tones, the warm grays that were found in that kitchen and kind of carry them through into the dining, into the living, into that TV space. So it really was a great starting place and allowed us to really play around with the other spaces that connected to it. My clients, one is from India and the other is from Czech Republic. My client from India really loved layers, rich gold tones, texture. And contrary to him, my other client kind of had this modern, minimalist European vibe. When you first walk into the home and look to the left, that's the living room. And the living room has those beautiful gold tones in it. So it was really important to create a little bit of hierarchy in this space. And so I went directly to the wall, which would be the first thing you would see when you turn left. And on that wall, we had this beautiful hemp grass cloth. Amazing texture. When light hits it, you get this beautiful sheen. So reminiscent of gold and brass and all of those beautiful metals. And so that really was one of the first things we nailed down. Something else in this space that was a little challenging. The shape of the home, it's very structured. It's very hard lines, a lot of blocks, right? So as a designer, I love to break up that hardness and add curves and soft silhouettes, rounded corners on a sofa arm, curved backs to dining chairs, and soft shapes in rugs. And I think that's really important to kind of juxtaposition hard and soft. The coffee tables were actually a really fun play on my two clients. It's kind of like a yin and yang. One table that's made of burnished brass, and then the other is more of a copper or maybe even a bronze. Together, you can slide them, you can pull them apart. So it's actually really nice and multifunctional, but it really does kind of represent the two personalities of my clients. And they love that story when I presented that piece to them.
I bet just they love the fact that whoever they're having over, there's just a lot of conversation starters in that one space, right? It's like instant icebreakers, right?
I think that's really important that when someone walks into your home, when you walk into your home, I want there to be so many of those little aha moments. And I want there to be continual discoveries. I want you to walk into your home and say, oh, I just absolutely love that. Wait, when did that get here?
This room was literally just walls. So tell me about the bookshelf. Really beautiful.
Yeah. So my client from India is used to having a little bit more privacy between the kitchen and the living. And so he had requested just like a little bit of privacy and delineation between those two spaces. So we looked at some screen options. We looked at ceiling to floor built-ins, and we landed on this really great bookshelf. It's backed in some areas. It has open spots. So it kind of creates a little bit of a peekaboo moment from one space into the other. It's a beautiful walnut material. And I think it really creates enough division between the spaces, but still helps them feel connected.
Tell me a little bit more about the light fixtures. I know the light fixtures were super important to this project.
Yes, that's very, very true. We have this incredible entryway, with 16-foot high ceilings. And both my client and I knew we needed to fill up that space. So what we decided to do is, rather than find one individual light fixture, we actually found not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, but we found 6 light fixtures, these individual jute pendants in various sizes. And we decided to hang those from the ceiling at various heights. And it just fills up the space beautifully. It feels light and airy. And when the light shines through those, you have this beautiful texture and pattern that emits on the walls surrounding it. It's absolutely beautiful. The other thing I'd love to talk about in this space is the light fixture in that living area too.
Yes.
So this light fixture has these incredible elongated brass rods that have an asymmetrical connection to the ceiling. Again, creates that beautiful balance between some of the curved, soft, shapes that you see on the floor with the rug. And then you have this really structured, geometric, beautiful light fixture on the ceiling. And it's one of those things when you first walk into the house and look left, you're like, what is that?
Tell me about the dining room.
So the dining room, because it's very open concept to the kitchen, to the living, to the TV room, it was really important for that to be not a transitional space, but we knew it would have a lot of pass through. So we went fairly neutral with the color palette here. Something that's really exciting and not going to lie was very challenging were the light fixtures in this space. So again, we couldn't find one single light fixture that was going to work. And so we decided to do 9 individual pendants in 3 different shapes and hang them at various heights. This combination light fixture is very oversized, but still balances perfectly with the size of that table. I love the really soft light that emanates from these pendants and the curves that they have, because I feel like that balances beautifully with the sharp legs of those dining chairs. It just creates this awesome contrast of hard and soft. The top is made of a herringbone wood inlay, and it's just this beautiful texture on the top.
What role did Houzz play in terms of the collaboration, buying things?
Yeah, Houzz is super important for both my business and my team and my clients. And we use Houzz Pro all the time. We use it honestly every day. We use it for POs, we use it for invoicing, time tracking. We use it for project management, for project tracking. So we're involved and in Houzz every single day. And honestly, it makes my business run smoother.
It was mainly the main floor of the home that you did, the lower level where they're doing all their living.
That's correct.
Tell me about this other equally beautiful living space. There's a little less going on here, but this is an equally beautiful room. Let's not downplay it, but it's a slightly different approach. So tell me about this space a little bit.
Yeah, very much so. The room, when you first walk in the home and turn to the right, that's kind of what we call the TV room, the lounge room, the cozy room. And this room was really for them. This isn't a place where they're really going to entertain. This is for them to kick up their feet, watch some TV, have a glass of wine late at night, turn on that fireplace in the middle of winter, just kind of cozy up on that sofa that has a really deep seat. And so our approach to this space was very different. It was all about comfort and necessity. In front of that sofa and in front of that fireplace, we have an ottoman, a leather ottoman. And over top of that ottoman is this great little movable table. So you can push it to the left, to the right, slide it back and forth, put your hot chocolate on there, put your glass of wine there, your bowl of popcorn when you're watching TV. Another really great little zone in this cozy TV room is that modern wingback chair that sits in that bay area with the windows. This is kind of the perfect little spot. Again, maybe in a winter snowstorm, you're sitting there reading a book, having a glass of wine, warming up with hot chocolate. It just creates this perfect little reading nook. And I think it's just a super cozy space to be used.
And you've got that ambient light, coming in. Even on a dark day, you're going to get enough light there. That is the cozy spot right there. I see spending a lot of time in that little chair.
Definitely a lot of time.
That's getting a lot of use. Well, really great work, Trevor. Love the space. Hope to see more of your spaces in the future. And thanks for spending some time with us today.
Yeah, this has been awesome. Thanks so much for having me.
All right, we'll see you.